Morning, ma'am, classmates. I am Casey Dukusin. Today, Blue Team will report the Unit 2 title 7 Evolution of Management Thought. The origin of management can be traced back to the days when man started living in groups. History reveals that strawmen organized the masses into groups according to their intelligence, physical, and mental capabilities. Evidence of the use of the well-recognized principles of management is to be found in the organization of public life in ancient Greece, the organization of Roman Catholic Church, and the organization of military forces. Thus, management in some form or the other has been practiced in various parts of the world since the dawn of civilization. With the onset of Industrial Revolution, however, the position underwent a radical change. The structure of industry became extremely complex. At this stage, the development of a formal theory of management became absolutely necessary. It was against this background that the pioneers of modern management thought laid the foundation of the modern management theory and practice. Evolution of management thought may be divided into 4 stages. Number 1 is pre-scientific management period. Number 2, classical theory. Number 3, neoclassical theory or behavior approach. And the 4th one is modern theory or systems approach. Pre-scientific management period contribution made by Roman Catholic Church, military organizations, writer like Charles Babbage and James Watt, etc. Classical theory, there are scientific management by Taylor, administrative management of Fayol, bureaucratic model of Max Weber. Neoclassical theory, there are Hawthorne and experiment. Modern theory are also have system approach and contingency approach. I know someone of you will ask what is pre-scientific management period, what is classical theory, neoclassical theory, and modern theory. That question will be answered by the next reporter.
Hi everyone, my name is Janami Biliren, a BS Agribusiness 1B student, and I will be reporting Evaluation of Management Thought.
Figure 5. Evolution of Management and Thought. Pre-scientific method period. The advent of the Industrial Revolution in the middle of the 18th century had its impact on management. Industrial Revolution brought about the complete change in the method of production, tools, and equipments. Organizations of labor and method of raising capital, employees went to their work instead of receiving. So, in the 18th century had its impact. Industrial method is changed by using tools and new equipments. The labor is less because of the new type of works. Become a dominant feature of the economy under this system. Land buildings hard and a capital are made to the entrepreneurs who strive. To combine this factor in the efficient achievement a particular goal, all this is changes in turn. The combined factors of achievement is in goal are changed. Brought about changes in the management. Traditional conventional or customary ideas of management were slowly given up, and management came to be scientific principles. In the words of L.F. Orwick, modern management has thrown open a new branch on human knowledge. This universe discourse during the period of following Industrial Revolution. So, Industrial Revolution of a certain pioneers tried to challenge and introduce new ideas. Management, by introducing new ideas, approaches that notable contributors. Next is a Professor Charles Babbage, UK in 1729 to 1871. He was a professor of mathematics at Cambridge University at Cambridge University, Prof. Babbage found that manufacturers are little use of science and mathematics, and that they manufacturers relied. So Professor Charles Babbage used and relies manufacturers a scientific applied for the solution and the method of place or guesswork. For the solution, he advocates the accurate observation, measurement, and precise knowledge for the taking business decision. He urged the management of an enterprise. On the basis of accurate data obtained through rigid investigation, the desirability of finding out. So, he used accurate observation, measurement. That was his basis of accurate data through rigid investigation. That was the work of Professor Charles Babbage. The dividing of work into the mental and physical effort of determining the precise cost of for every process of the paying of a bonus to the workers in proportion to his own efficient and the success of enterprise. So he gave priority or determine the cost of every process and paying the bonuses of the workers to his own efficient and the success, so that there is a success of enterprises. James Watt Jr. UK 1796 and to 1848, and Matthew Robinson Bolton 1770 to 1842. James Watt Jr. and Matthew Robinson Bolton contributed the development of management by following certain management techniques in their engineering factory at Soho and Birmingham. They are the following: production planning, standardization of components, maintenance and machine layouts, provision of welfare for personnel, scheme for executive development, marketing, research and forecasting, elaborate statistic records. Robert Owens, UK 1771 18 to 1858. Robert Owens, the promoter of cooperative and trade union mob in England, emphasized that recognition human element in industry. He firmly believed that the workers' performance in industry was influenced by the working condition. Treatment of workers. He introduced new ideas of human relation. So he emphasized that the recognition of human element in industry is firmly, and he believed the performance of the workers, and he introduced to the workers a new human relation. Shorter working hours, housing, facility, training, and workers in hygiene, education of their children, provision of content, etc. Robert Owen managed a group of textile mills in Lanark, Scotland, where he used his idea of human relation through his approach was paternalistic. He came to be regarded as a father of personal management.
Classmate, my name is Joy Paul Rubasal, and my topic for today is all about classical theory. Classical theory. The classical theory is the traditional theory wherein more emphasis is on the organization rather than the employees working therein. Ang classical theory ay ang tradisyonal na teorya na mas ginhatagag importance or attention ng organization kaysa sa mga employees na nagatrabaho dito. According to the classical theory, the organization is considered as a machine and the human beings as a different components part of that machine. Regarding to the classical theory, ang organization kay ginaturing nila na machine ug ang mga tao. Prof. Charles Babbage, James Watt Jr. and Mateo Robinson Bolton, Robert Owen Henry Robinson ug si Tony and Rowntree. Mao ni sila ang walay duha-duha na naghuna-huna na mo create or mo develop og new idea. The impact of their contributions of the industry as a whole was meager. But ang impact sa ilang contribution kay meager or very small amount, really enough. The real beginning of the science of management did not occur until the last decade of the 19th century. The real beginning of the science is wala na hitabo hantod sa the last decade of the 19th century. During this period, stalwarts like W. Taylor, H.L. Gant, Emerson, Frank, and Lillian Gilbert, it is laid the foundation of management, which in due course came to be known as scientific management. At this time, ang mga stalwarts or loyal na tulad ni Taylor, H.L. Gant, Emerson, Frank, o Lillian Gilbert kay naglatag ang foundation of management, then which in time became known as scientific management. The contribution of the pioneers of this age have had a profound impact in furthering the management know-how and enriching the store of management principles. The contribution of those who first thought of doing or developing new ideas in this age had a profound impact sa pagpapasulong ng kaalaman, sa pag-manage o pagpapayaman sa tindahan ng management principles. F. W. Taylor and Henry Fayol are generally regarded as the founders of scientific management and administrative management, and both provided the basis for science and art of management. Si Taylor at Henry Fayol ay itinuturing na leader of scientific management. The epoch in the history of management will be remembered as an era in which traditional ways of managing were challenged. The epoch, or the very important in this history of management, will be remembered as an era kung saan hinamon ang mga traditional ways of managing. Past management experience was scientifically systematized and principles of management were distilled and propagated.
Good day, ma'am, classmates. My name is Casey Dukusin. Today, I'm going to report the elements of scientific management. The techniques which Taylor regarded as its essential elements are figures may be classified as under number 1, scientific task and rate setting, work improvement, and etc. Number 2, planning the task. Number 3, vocational selection and training. Number 4, standardization of working condition, materials, equipment, and etc. Number 5, specialization. Number 6, mental revolution. And now, the number 1 is scientific task and rate setting or work study. Work study may be defined as the systematic, objective, and critical examination of all the factors governing the operational efficiency of any specified activity in order to effect improvement. Work study includes method study, motion study, time study or work measurement, fatigue study, and rate setting. So, work study is a generic term that includes the techniques of method study and work measurement leading to efficiency with the ultimate object of an all-around improvement. Work study is carried on to examine human work keeping in view motion, time, and fatigue, all those factors affecting a human being in performing a job. So, work study is comprehensive, inclusive of method, motion, time, fatigue, and rate setting. Method study. The management should try to ensure that the plant is laid out in the best manner and it is equipped with the best tools and machinery. The possibilities of eliminating or combining certain operation may be studied. The study is a determination of the standard task and as such the first step in the preparation of the process chart. The ways and means of simplifying design of the product, the improvement in the material handling, transportation, storage, and etc. are included in the method of the study. Motion study. It is the study of the movement of an operator or even of a machine in performing an operation with the purpose of eliminating useless motion. So, motion study, it is a study of the movement of an operator for eliminating useless motion. So, this study is carried on scientifically ensures most effective and most economical method of doing a job. The purpose of such study is to ascertain the best method of performance with the least wastage of time. This process of motion study sets and the correct methods for an existing job as a result of which methods of productions in general improve. Or work measurement. The basic purpose of time study is to determine the proper time for performing the operation. Such study may be conducted after the motion study. Both time and motion study help in determining the best method of doing a job and the standard time allowed for it. Time study is a systematic study of the time required to do a particular job by an average efficient worker has to be fixed before a standard work is allotted to them. Time study is primarily the part of observing and recording the best way of doing a piece of work. According to Taylor, it is not possible to assign on worker just the volume of work. They should do the optimum that can be expected to them. If a standard task is set without providing for measures to eliminate fatigue, it may either be beyond the workers or the workers may overstrain themselves to attain it. It is necessary because, therefore, to regulate the working hours and provide for rest pauses at scientifically determined intervals. So, the fatigue study is a worker that it must be admitted. It gets tired at a certain point of time, and if he is compelled to continue with his work, he suffers. The work itself suffers. So, scientifically, it has to be determined when on a standard piece of work an average worker gets tired. He should be discussed to work harder for the benefit of the firm as well as of the worker. Energy recoupment is a necessity. Social needs are there. It is ultimately and economical for the firm since it enhances efficiency. The last one is rate setting. Taylor recommended the differential piece wage system, under which workers performing the standard task within prescribed time are paid as much higher rate per unit than inefficient workers who are not able to come up to the standard set. Rate setting. This plan was suggested by Taylor to track highly efficient workers. Under this plan, there are two pieces of work rates. One is lower and another is higher. The standard of efficiency is determined in terms of number of units during a day or standard sale. The workers who produces more than standard output within the standard time will be given higher base rate on the other hand. If a worker is below the standard, it will be given lower rate of wages. The slow workers goes finally as he gets wages at a lower base rate. Thus, Taylor's scheme of wages payment encourages the workers to attain higher standard of the performance and earn wages at higher rate. Number 2. Planning the task. Having set the task which an average worker must strive to perform to get wages at the higher base rate. Necessary steps have to be taken to plan the production truly so that there is no bottleneck and the work goes on systematically. So, planning the task, it is a forward-looking task involving steps to remove the causes that may stand in the way of proper implementation and smooth functioning of the scheme and organization. Preparation of detailed instruction for the workers, according to Taylor, is a must. Workers should not be allowed to follow their own way of doing work, and that may lead to inefficient production. The third one, selection and training. Scientific management requires a radical change in the methods and procedures of selecting workers. It is therefore necessary to entrust the task of selection to a central personnel department. The procedure of selection will also have to be systematized. Proper attention has also to be devoted to the training.
Good day, ma'am. Good day, classmates. My name is Casey Dukusin, and I'm going to report the continuation about elements of scientific management, which is the standardization, specialization, and mental revolution.
One is standardization. So first, what is standardization? Standardization means producing maximum variety of products from the minimum variety of materials, parts, tools, and processes. It is the process also of establishing standards or unit of measure by which extent, quality, quantity, value, performance, and etc. Standardization also means of achieving economic production. Taylor advocated that tools and equipment as well as working conditions should be standardized to achieve standard output from workers. The line of product is restricted to predetermined type, form, design, size, weight, and its quality. There is manufacture of identical parts and components. Quality and standard have been maintained. Standard of performance are established for workers at all levels. The goal of standardization is to ensure uniformity to certain practices within the industry. Standardization may be introduced in respect of the following: tools and equipment, speed, condition of work, and materials. So, tools and equipment. By standardization is meant the process of bringing about uniformity. So, like what I said earlier, that standardization is to ensure uniformity. So, it brings uniformity or uniform. Standardization of tools and equipment was an important element of scientific management. Taylor wanted to use only the best of doing the work. Proper tools and equipment are essential for increasing the efficiency and speed of the work. Speed. There is usually an optimum speed for every machine. If it is exceeded, it is likely to result in damage to machinery. So, ang kaniyang machine, nani siya kaugalingong kapaspason o kahinaon. So kung ato ang papaspason ang machine para daghan tahay taog product nga mahimo, it will result to damage the machine. Condition of work. To attain standard performance, the maintenance of standard condition of ventilation, heating, cooling, humidity, floor space, safety, etc. is very essential. So, to attain those, the standard performance, we need to maintain standard condition. For example, in inasal, di ba kabantay mo sa pagsulod pa lang nato is naanay hand sanitizer, ikuan ang guard, then i-check kung kuan ato ang temperature, kung pagsulod nimo ang space ato is nice kanang hinlo, every table is sanitize,
makita nato siya nga grabe gyud ka kuan ang ilahang standard performance o nindot gyud kaayo hinlo. So that's why, so by maintaining standard condition is very essential labaw na sa mga fast food chain like Inasal. Materials. The efficiency of a worker depends on the quality of materials and the method of handling materials. So, ang efficiency daw sa worker is nagadepend sa materials. For example, by making icing, di ba sa karon is ang ginagamit gyud nila nga material sa paghimo sa icing is ang mixer para mapadali og himo og icing. Pero kay wala man kay materials like mixer, ang imong gigamit niya, ang available lang sa imo is ang whisk. So ang imong gigamit is sige ra kag batil. So unsa man ang mahitabo, dugay kaayo trabahoon. So ang muna ang ipasabot nga ang efficiency sa worker is nagadepend gid siya sa materials.
The fifth one is specialization. Scientific management will not be complete without the introduction of a specialization. Under this plan, the two functions of planning and doing are separated in the organization of the plan. The functional foremen or the specialists who join their heads to give thought to the planning of the performance operation in the workshop. Taylor suggested 8 functional foremen under his scheme of functional foremanship. Taylor pleaded on the concept of functional foremanship. He felt that the workers and factory executives should be freed from the burden of the planning and designing. Functional foremanship is the extension of the principle of specialization or division of labor to the sphere of management. According to Taylor, the two functions of planning and doing should be separated. The planning section should concentrate on planning the task, and the issuing instruction to the workers for implementing them. Taylor suggested 8 functional specialists, the first 4 attached with planning work and the next 4 with actually implementation or execution of the plan. In charge is the route clerk, the instruction card clerk, the time and cost clerk, and the shop disciplinarian. The doing in charge is the gang boss, the speed boss, the repair boss, and the inspector. This technique was developed to improve the quality of work. A single supervisor may not be an expert in all the aspects of the work. Therefore, workers are to be supervised by the specialist foreman. So here's the 8 functional foremen that Taylor suggested: the route clerk, the instruction card clerk, the time and cost clerk, the shop disciplinarian, the gang boss, the speed boss, the repair boss, and the inspector. Number 1 is the route clerk, to lay down the sequence of operation and instruct the workers concerned about it. So the route clerk is the one who determines the route through which raw materials has to be passed. Instruction card clerk, to prepare detailed instructions regarding different aspects of work. The instruction card clerk is the one who concerned with tagging down of instruction according to which workers are required to perform their job. The time and cost clerk, to send all information relating to their pay to the workers and to secure proper returns of work from them. So time and cost clerk is he's the one who concerned with setting a timetable for doing job and specifying the materials and labor cost involved in it, and also the pay for the workers. The shop disciplinarian, to deal with cases of breach of discipline and absenteeism. So shop disciplinarians are concerned with making rules and regulation to ensure discipline in the business or in the organization. The gang boss, to assemble and set up tools and machines and to teach the workers to make all their personal motion in the quickest and the best way. So the gang boss is the one who make the arrangement of workers, machines, and tools.
The speed boss. The speed boss to ensure that machines are run at their best and proper tools are used by the workers. So the speed boss is concerned about with maintaining the speed and to remove delays in the production process. The repair boss to ensure that each worker keeps his machine in good order and maintains cleanliness around him and his machine. So the repair boss is the one who keep the machine in good condition and he's also the one who maintain the cleanliness around the machine. The inspector to show to the worker how to do the work. So the inspector is concerned with maintaining the quality of the product. The sixth one is mental revolution. At present, industry is divided into two groups, management and labor. The major problem between two groups is the division of surplus. The management wants the maximum possible share of the surplus as profit. The workers want as large share in the form of wages. Taylor has in mind the enormous gain that arises from higher productivity. Such gains can be shared both by the management and workers in the form of increased profits and increased wages. At present, the industry has divided into two groups, which is the management and the labor. The major problem of these two is the division of surplus. The management wants the maximum possible share and the workers want the large share in the form of wages. Mental revolution, simply stated, mental revolution is concerned with bringing basic change in the mental attitude of workers and the management toward each other. Scientific approach means radical changes in the approach to solve problems regarding work and the managerial culture. Workers were feeling that management was exploiting them, giving more work and paying major amount. Whereas management has the misgiving in that worker always grumbled about the load of the work, follow go-slow policy, damage the equipment, and showed a difference toward quality of goods. So the feeling of suspension had to be rooted out to adopt systematic thinking, mutual understanding, and cooperation between management and workers was an essential aspect pleaded by Taylor. Mental revolution on the part of the workers and management was essential to improve the workers of an enterprise.
Features of management in the classical period. So, what is classical management theory? Classical management theory is based on the belief that workers only have physical and economic needs. Unlike more modern workplace management theories, it does not take into account social needs or job satisfaction. Instead, classical management theory advocates a specialization of labor, centralized leadership, and decision making and profit maximization. So, this theory holds that these physical needs can be met through income and monetary incentives, and uses the opportunity for wage increases to motivate employees. Three main concepts of the classical management theory. Classical management theory outlines an ideal workplace as one that rests on three main concepts. First, hierarchical structure. Second, specialization. And last, incentives. So first, we have here the hierarchical structure. Under the classical model, workplaces are divided into three distinct layers of management in a hierarchical structure. At the very top are the owners, board of directors, and executives that sets the long-range objectives for a firm. Middle management takes on the responsibility of overseeing supervisors while setting goals at the department level to fit within the confines of the manager's budget. At the lowest level of the chain are supervisors who manage day-to-day activities
address employee problems, and provide training. Second, specialization. The classical management theory involves an assembly-like view of the workplace in which large tasks are broken down into smaller ones that are easy to accomplish. Workers understand their roles and typically specialize in a single area. This helps increase productivity and efficiency while eliminating the need for the employees to multitask. Lastly, the incentives. The classical theory believes that employees are motivated by financial rewards. It proposes that employees will work and be more productive if they are awarded incentives based on their work. Employers who can motivate their employees with incentives may be able to achieve increased production, efficiency, and profit. That's all. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Cyril Angelo Cortez Padilla, and today I will going to report the benefits of scientific management. So, Taylor's ideas, research, and recommendation broke into focus technological, human, and organizational issues in industrial management. Benefits of Taylor's scientific management included wider scope for specialization, accurate planning, timely delivery. Timely delivery is a condition precedent to acceptance of shares for purchase pursuant to the offer and to payment to the purchase amount. Standardized methods. Standard method are methodological approaches that standardize the determination of additionally or crediting baseline for a given class of project activity. And then better quality. Example, exceptional, higher quality, or marvelous, unsa pa, outstanding. Next is lesser cost. Lesser cost is the rule means the adoption of the lower of the cost to the cooperation of payment of insured deposit in liquidation of an institution or the cost to the cooperation in undertaking the exclusion and transfer process. Minimum wastage of material. Minimum wastage is a set of processes and practice intended to reduce the amount of waste produced. So by reducing or eliminating the generation of harmful and persistent waste support efforts to promote a more sustainable society. Time and energy and cordial relation. Time and energy management relates to organized planning and things are more tangible, while energy management relates to more intangible aspects. According to Gilbreth, the main benefits of scientific management are conservation and saving, making and indicate use of everyone's energy of any type that expanded. Energy conservation is the decision and practice of using less energy. So, the benefits of scientific management are replacement of traditional rule of thumb method by scientific techniques. Hello everyone, I'm Cyril Angelo Cortez Padilla, and today I will going to report the benefits of scientific management. So, Taylor's ideas, research and recommendation brought into focus technological, human, and organizational issues in industrial management. Benefits of Taylor's scientific management included wider scope for specialization, accurate planning, timely delivery. Timely delivery is a condition precedent to acceptance of shares for purchase pursuant to the offer and to payment to the purchase amount. Standardized methods. Standard method are methodological approaches that standardize the determination of additionally or crediting baseline for a given class of project activity. And then better quality. Better quality. Example, exceptional, higher quality, or marvelous, unsa pa, outstanding. Next is lesser cost. Lesser cost is the rule means the adoption of the lower of the cost to the cooperation of payment of insured deposit in liquidation of an institution or the cost to the cooperation in undertaking the exclusion and transfer process. Minimum wastage of material. Minimum wastage is a set of processes and practice intended to reduce the amount of waste produced. So by reducing or eliminating the generation of harmful and persistent waste, waste support efforts to promote a more sustainable society. Time and energy and cordial relation. Time and energy management relates to organized planning and things are more tangible, while energy management relates to more intangible aspects. According to Gilbreth, the main benefits of scientific management are conservation and saving, making and indicate use of everyone's energy of any type that expanded. Energy conservation is the decision and practice of using less energy. So, the benefits of scientific management are replacement of traditional rule of thumb method by scientific techniques.
My name is Mary Joy M. Curato. My report is all about criticism. Criticism. When we say criticism or criticizing a thing, it means more like a negative side of a situation, an event, or a things. In business, there is also presence of criticism, in which we are approved. Now, let's talk and discuss some of the workers' criticism. In this include speeding up of workers, loss of individual workers' initiative, problem of monotony, reduction of employment, wearing of trade unions, exploitation of workers, also in employers' criticism. We have heavy investment loss due to reorganization and unsuitable for small-scale firms. Number 1, workers' criticism. A. Speeding up of workers. Scientific management is also a device to speed up the workers without much regard for their health and well-being. When we are going to run a business and we hired a lot of workers, we are also responsible for our workers' health, of course. Our workers help us is running our business, so the least that we can do, aside from their wages, is to think of their health also. Speeding up our workers will yet help our business productive and the process is fast. But if our workers' health weakened, what will happen to our business? Think both the business and the workers. Don't put much pressure because it does not help that much to your business. Workers will work accordingly. No need to force them to speed up. That's the sad part of being a worker. When the manager forces too much to her workers, that will surely has an effect on the workers' health. B. Loss of individual workers' initiative. Scientific management reduces workers to automatic machine by taking away from them the function of thinking. Today that we are now on high technology system, individuals are replaced by a machine, not just in working but in thinking also. A lot of establishment uses an automatic machine as their worker because they think that machine work faster than a person. They don't also need to pay for the machine's work because it is already controlled by them. In this way, the loss of individual workers' initiative exists and the workers' initiative is denied. The managers and the company will never be affected by this initiative. Rather, the individual will be affected, and it's also the reason why the poverty worsened due to loss of work. C. Problem of monotony. By separating the function of planning and thinking from that of doing, scientific management reduces work to mere routine. Monotony is a loss of variation and interest. In business, when we have a problem of monotony, it means that we lose an interest in thinking that affects that interest of doing. When we lose the interest of doing, of course, it will affect our performance as a worker, and that's what makes a negative side of a worker. D. Reduction of employment. Scientific management create unemployment and hits the workers hard. Workers depends on employment. If there's no enough employment, there were a possible work shortage, and that is not a good idea of being a worker. As what I have mentioned earlier, that some of the company or establishment choose to use an automatic machine than hiring a worker because machine works faster than a person. Due to this initiative, the reduction of employment exists and affect much of the workers. In that way, they criticize the skills of a worker. E. Weakening of trade unions. Under scientific management, the important issue of wages and working conditions are decided by the management through scientific investigation, and the trade union may have a little say in the matter. Of course, when we are working in a certain establishment, we are expecting a wages, right? How does the wages affect the trade union of our workers? Workers nowadays has different wages depending on their skills. Weakening of trade unions is related to the workers' working condition and to their corresponding wages. When the wages is too low, then the working condition of the worker is also affected. It is always depends on the management. F. Exploitation of workers. Scientific management improves productivity through the agency of workers, and yet they are given a very small share of the benefits of such improvement. Workers work for the improvement of the business. Workers work hard for the business productivity, but sad to say, workers did not get their deserved benefits and even get a small share out of the big improvement that the company gets. It seems like it's so unfair for the workers that they are working hard for the business to be improved, but when the business improved, they got but the same wages and benefit and has no increasing of salary. In workers' part, it is so hard to work with a small scale of salary, and it's like they are just being used to. Number 2, employers' criticism. A. Heavy investment. It requires too heavy an investment. The employers has to meet the extra cost of planning department, though the foreman in the department do not work in the workshop and directly towards higher production. Employers need investment, but it also depends on the capability of their businesses. Investment is a good for the company, but too heavy investment will never be a good idea to the company and to the employers itself. They also need to set a limit in looking for and accepting an investment for their company. B. Loss due to reorganization. The introduction of scientific management requires a virtual reorganization of the whole setup of the industrial unit. In business industry, we always start at organizing things that we need to consider and don't in the company. Before we proceed to seeking of investment, we need to set up the whole idea and organize all of the things that we need along the process. In an instance, during the process, some company decide to reorganize their industrial unit. It means they have to set up again the things that the company needs. Reorganization in the company is good, but again, it also gives a negative effect. C. Unsuitable for small-scale firms. Various measures like the establishment of a separate personnel department and the conducting of time and motion studies are too expensive for small or modest-sized industrial units. As an employer, you are responsible in considering the state or the level of your company. If your company is just started, of course, you have to start from a small-scale investment up to the large-scale investment. You don't have to jump directly to the large investment because it will affect the finance and the development of your business. You have to start little by little until it gets bigger and bigger.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmate. My name is Christine Laura, BS Agribusiness 1B, your reporter for this day. My report is Contribution of Scientific Management. Chief among these are emphasize on rational thinking on the part of management. Imuhang hatagan og paghunahuna kung unsaon nimo pagdala sa usa ka business. Number 2, focus on the need for better methods of industrial work through systematic study and research. Mag-focus ta sa mga kinahanglanon para mas maayo ang pagtrabaho through systematic study of research. Emphasize on planning and control of production. Dapat ato ang kontrolon ang ato ang product para dili ta malugi ni ato ang planuhan. Number 4, development of cost accounting. Sila ang tiglista o ga-manage kung pila ang nagastos. Number 5, development of incentive plans and wage payment based on systematic study of work. Paglambo sa plano o tamang pagsweldo based sa systematic study of work. Number 6, focus on need for a separate personnel department. Mag-focus ta sa kinahanglanan sa usa ka department or sa personnel. Number 7, focus on the problem of fatigue and risk in industrial work. Dapat hatagan sab nato og risk di ato ang mga trabahante para dili sila ma-stress, dili sila makapuyon or something. Taylor was the pioneer in introducing scientific reasoning to the discipline of management. Many the objections raised were later reminded by the other contributors to scientific management like Henry L. Gantt, Frank and Lillian Gilbert, and Harrington Emerson. So, si Taylor ang first nga nagpaila sa scientific reasoning to the discipline management.
So hi everyone, my name is Ashley Morales Funda from Agribusiness 1B. So today I will going to discuss to you about Frank USA 1867 to 1924 and Lillian USA 1878 to 1912. So this is Frank and Lillian Gilbert. They refined to Taylor's method. They are famous husband and wife. Frank and Lillian Gilbert believe in relations and consistency in the workplace. Rather than encouraging a company of many worker parts, they valued efficiency above all else. Frank and Lillian Gilbert valued efficiency by identifying and replicating one best way to complete a task. They believe that there is one best way to get any job done, and the specific process should, when identified, be replicated through the manufacturing process, eliminating individual steps and producing the most efficient result. So Frank Gilbert is known for having specialized in the study of displacement in the industrial field, while Lillian developed work more related to industrial psychology. So Frank Gilbert is regarded as the father of motion study. So this is Lillian Gilbert. She studied of both allowed and new interpretations of the importance of increasing production while reducing the effort of achieve it. Apart from their specialized publication, they are also known for being the protagonist of Cheaper by the Dozen, a novel written by Frank Gilbert. Gilbert's contribution to management thought are quite considerable. His main contributions are: so A. The best way of doing our job is the way which involves the fewest motions performed in an accessible area and in the most comfortable positions. The best way can be found out by elimination of inefficient and wasteful motion involved in the work. So B. He emphasized that training should be given to workers from a very beginning so that they may achieve competence as early as possible. So letter C. He suggested that each worker should be considered to occupy 3 positions. First is the job he held before promotion to his present position. So next is his present position, and the last one, and the next higher position. The part of a worker's time should be spent in teaching the man below him and learning from the man above him. This will help him qualify for promotion and help to provide successors to his current job. So letter D. Frank and Lillian Gilbert also give a thought to the welfare of the individuals who work for the organizations. So Gilbert also devised Method for avoiding wasteful and unproductive movements. He laid down of workers should stand, how his hands should move.
Good day everyone, my name is Christian Narciso from BS Agribusiness 1B, and I will discuss the Henry Lawrence Gantt. Henry Lawrence Gantt, USA, 1861-1819. Gantt was born in 1861. He graduated from Johns Hopkins College. For some times, he worked as a draughtsman in an iron foundry. In 1884, he qualified as a mechanical engineer at Stevens State Institute in 1887. He joined the Midvale Steel Company. Soon he became an assistant to F.W. Taylor. He worked with Taylor from 1887-1919 at Midvale Steel Company. He did much consulting work on scientific selection of workers and development of incentive bonus system. He emphasized the need for developing mutuality of interest between management and labor. Gantt made from important contribution to concept of management. 1. Gantt chart compared actual to planned performance. Gantt chart was a daily chart which graphically. So Gantt makes a chart of his day-to-day. He did it actual performance. He does like delivers and the works in areas. Number 2. Tax and bonus plan from numerating workers in conducting a more human train approach. This plan was aimed at providing extra wage for extra works. Besides graduate minimums wage under the system of wage payment, if a worker complete the work lead out from him, he's paid a bonus in addition to his daily minimum wage. On other hand, if a worker does not complete his works, he is paid only his minimum wage. There was provide from giving bonus to surveyors of if workers under his works are able to earn such bonus by extra works. So si Gantt daw iyahang gina silduhan og tarong ang isa ka trabahante kung natagan ni kung nakumpleto niya ang iyang trabaho, tapos kinatagan niya og bonus. If ang isa ka trabahante dili niya matagan o dili niya makumpleto iyang isa ka trabaho, so gihatagan na siya og tamang sweldo sa iya, wala siya bonus. Psychology of employee relation, dedicating management responsibility to teach and train workers in his prepared training workmen in habits of industry and cooperation. Gantt Corporation pleaded from a policy of reaching and teaching workmen to do their works in the process. Even touch pre-thinking of management. So si Ganto ginatuluan niya og matarong iyang mga trabahante kay para pag magkuhan sila dili sila magkamali-mali sa iyang ilang mga trabaho. So, responsibility to fresh and from workers. Number 4, Gantt lead with emphasis on leadership. He considered management as leadership function. He led stress on the importance of acceptable leadership as a primary element in the just success of any business. Gantt contribution were from in the nature of refinements rather than fundamental concept. They made a scientific management for humanized and manageful to the votes of Taylor. Si Gantt is every great leadership from him. It's as a primary elements in the success of any business. His contribution were more in the nature of reference rather than foundation concept and management. Thank you.
Good day, ma'am and classmate. I am Rubix Basco. I am going to report about Harrington Emerson. Harrington Emerson, USA, 1853-1931. Emerson was an American engineer. He devoted his attention to efficiency in industry. He was the first to use the term efficiency engineering to describe his brand of consulting. He called this philosophy the gospel of efficiency. According to him, efficiency means that the right thing is done in the right manner, by the right man at the right place in the right time. This is the 12th principle of efficiency. First, ideals. Every organization must have defined ideals that align its employees and guide their behavior. We are today using the term objectives, goal, mission, purpose, value, etc. for the term ideals used by Emerson. 2. Common sense. Emerson talks of higher level understanding of person in higher level of management to promote efficiency. 3. Competent counsel. Efficiency improvement is a specialized knowledge area, and companies have to appoint specialists to develop an efficiency develop function in the organization and take their help in announcing programs and practices. 4. Discipline. The organization was to make plans and run its operation according to the plan. 5. The fair deal. In the organization, everybody must perceive fairness in dealings and 6. Reliable, immediate, and adequate records. Reliable, immediate, and adequate reliable records are required for good plans, including good efficiency plans. 7. Dispatching. What is to be done at each machine needs to be determined by planning department and is to be communicated to the workman. 8. Standard and schedule. There needs to be a schedule planned for each machine and operator in the organization based on customer deliveries, promise, and the association criteria. Standard times for doing various operations are to be developed to help in developing schedules. 9. Standardized condition. In the organization, all facilities and environmental conditions have to be planned to meet specified objectives. A planned facilities is termed standard facilities. Number 10. Standardized operation. The movement of machine components, the motion of operators, the transport and handling of materials are to be planned to meet specified objective. 11. Written standard practice instructions. Standards condition and standardized operation are communicated to consider person in the organization through standard practice instruction. The efficiency expected will come about only when all activities are performed as per standard practice instruction. 12. Efficiency reward. Efficiency improvement was to result in benefit to all involved to sustain it. Employees have to receive efficiency and organization goes the financial benefits are realized. Thank you.
Administrative management theory. Henry Fayol was the most important exponent of the theory. The pyramidal of scalar principle, unity of Roman exception principle, span of control, and departmentalization are some important concepts set forth by Fayol and his followers like Money and Wiley, Simon, Erwick, Gulick, etc. Explanation. Good day, everyone. My report is all about administrative management theory, and most important exponent on this management is no other than Henry Fayol. Later on, we will see who is Henry Fayol. Ang uban importanteng concept sets by Fayol is pyramidal form, which is obviously a three-dimensional shape. Next, the scalar principle, which is also known as the scalar chain. Usa ni siya ka management principle predicate on establishing an unbroken line of authority from the highest level of management on down, and the next is the unity command, which states that employees should receive orders and instruction from the boss only. Next is the exception principle, which is a method or plan of supervision. Next is span of control, which determines the level of interaction and responsibilities associated with employees and manager. The last one is the departmentalism, as we can do notice all. These are methods or a plan to a successful management. Henry Fayol as followers, there are many more. The end my report, and thank you.
Good day, ma'am, and to our classmate. I'm Petra Paul Kalang. I'm reporter of Neoclassical theory. Neoclassical theory is built on the base of classical theory. It modified, improved, and extended the classical theory. Neoclassical theory. Theory give greater emphasis to individual and group relationship in the workplace. So for example, you decide to purchase designer apparel because of the attached brand label. Classical theory concentrated on the job content and management of physical resources. Example, the 8th Amendment is a law that protects citizens from cruel and unusual punishment. The neoclassical theory pointed out the role of psychology and sociology in the understanding of individual and group behaviors in organization.
Good day, teacher and classmate. By the way, I am Jomar Isabel Bergad. My topic is all about George Elton Mayo. According to my research in Google, George Elton Mayo was an Australian-born psychologist, industrial researcher, and organizational theorist. He's born December 26, 1880 in Adelaide, Australia. Tapos namatay siya noong September 7, 1949 in Guildford, United Kingdom. He was also educated in logic and philosophy at St. Peter's College in Adelaide. Tapos he led a team of researchers from Harvard University which carried out investigation in human problems at the Hawthorne plant of Western Electrical Company at Chicago. They conducted some experiments. Tapos ang experiment ni George Elton Mayo is Hawthorne experiments. The meaning of Hawthorne experiments, according to my research in Google, is brought out that the productivity of the employees is not the function of only physical conditions of work and money wages paid to them. Productivity of employees depends heavily upon the satisfaction of the employees in their work situation. And also, he is investigated in formal groupings, informal relationship, patterns of communication, tapos patterns of informal leadership, etc. Elton Mayo is generally recognized as the father of human relation school. Other prominent contributors to this school include Roethlisberger, Dixon, Dewey, Lewin, etc.
Hello everyone, my name is Samantha Nicole V. Furalan from Agribusiness 1B. My reporting is all about Hawthorne experiment. Hawthorne experiment. In 1927, a group of researchers led by Elton Mayo and Fritz Roethlisberger of the Harvard Business School were invited to join in the studies of the Hawthorne works of Western Electric Company, Chicago. The experiment lasted up to 1932. The Hawthorne experiments brought out that the productivity of the employees is not the function of only physical conditions of work and money wages paid to them. Productivity of employees depends heavily upon the satisfaction of the employees in their work situation. Mayo's idea was that logical factors were far less important than emotional factors in determining productivity efficiency. Furthermore, of all the human factors influencing employee behavior, the most powerful were those emanating from the workers' participation in social groups. Thus, Mayo concluded that work arrangements, in addition to meeting the objective requirements of production at the same time, satisfy the employee's subjective requirement of social satisfaction at his work workplace. So, the Hawthorne experiment consists of 4 parts. These parts are briefly described below. Illumination experiment. This experiment was conducted to establish relationship between output and illumination. When the intensity of light was increased, the output also increased. The output showed an upward trend even when the illumination was gradually brought down to the normal level. Therefore, it was concluded that there is no consistent relationship between output of workers and illumination in the factory. There must be some other factor which affected productivity. So, the elimination experiments. These experiments were performed to find out the effect of different levels of illumination, lighting on productivity of labor. The brightness of the light was increased and decreased to find out the effect on the productivity of the test group. Surprisingly, the productivity increased even when the level of illumination was decreased. It was concluded that factors other than the light were also important. Number 2. Relay assembly test room experiment. Under this test, 2 small groups of 6 female telephone relay assemblers were selected. Each group was kept in separate rooms. From time to time, changes were made in working hours, rest periods, lunch breaks, etc. They were allowed to choose their own rest periods and to give suggestions. Output increased in both the control rooms. It was concluded that social relationship among workers, participation in decision making, etc., had a greater effect on productivity than working conditions. Mass interview program. 21 employees were interviewed over a period of 3 years to find out reasons for increased productivity. It was concluded that productivity can be increased if workers are allowed to talk freely about matters that are important to them. Number 4, bank wiring observation room experiment. So the bank wiring experiment is all about a group of 14 male workers in the bank wiring room were placed under observation for 6 months. A worker's pay depended on the performance of the group as a whole. The researchers thought that the efficient workers would put pressure on the less efficient workers to complete the work para daw kompleto ilahang ano. However, it was found that the group established its own standards of output and social pressure was used to achieve the standard of output.
Good day everyone, my name is Alvin Dolpila and this is my report Modern Theory. Introduction. The system approach to management indicates the fourth major theory of the management thought called modern approach. Modern theory considers as an adaptive system which has to adjust to changes on its environment. An organization is now defined as how structured process in which individuals interact for attaining objectives. This paragraph stated that the modern approach is the fourth major theory of management. Modern approach considers as an adaptive system meaning kani siya nga approach kay flexible or siya'y mag-adjust sa changes sa environment. For example, tong bag-o pa ang pandemic, dili pwede mag-interact sa mga different nga tao. Therefore, ang mga employees kay work from home. Ang kini siya nga approach mao ay nag-adjust sa mga panghitabo sa iyang palibot. Nga bisag naay pandemic ga interact gyapon ang mga employees aron makuha nila ilang goals or objectives ana nga trabaho. Meaning of the system. The word system is derived from the Greek word meaning to bring together or to combine. A system is a set of interconnected and interrelated elements or components parts to achieve certain goal. Ang system kay gikan na siya sa Greek word. Ang pasabot sa system kay set na siyang nga connected sa usag usa or naay relationship ang components na ginagamit aron mabuhat ang goal or objectives nga gusto nila ma-achieve. Example, if naay isa ka component ang dili mag-function og maayo ang ubang component, ma-feel pod tiwas sa ilang trabaho. Therefore, dili nila ma-achieve ang goals nga ilang gusto ma-attain. Dapat ang system isa mag-function tanan ug maayo ang mga components aron successful ilang pag-achieve sa goal or objectives. A system has three significant parts. Every system is a goal-oriented and it must have a purpose or objective to be attained. In design the system, we must establish the necessary arrangement of components, inputs of information, material, and energy that are located from processing as per plan so that the outputs can achieve the objective of the system. Ang system kay naay tulo ka importante nga parts. Una kay dapat naa jud siya goal nga dapat sundon og purpose nga kinahanglanan ma-achieve. Kaduha, sa pagbuhat og system nga kinahanglan sundon dapat ang mga kinahanglan og importante ra ang mga elements ang buhaton. Og ikatulo, dapat magplano ang mga materials ug energy nga gamiton o pag-process aron ma-achieve ang goals or objective sa system nga ginabuhat. Plans, objectives, policies, procedure, program, schedules, methods, inputs, information, energy, raw materials, process conversion of outputs in inputs, main machine system, information, energy and material or goods. Note, generally, there are three basic inputs that center of process of the system, namely information, technology, energy, motive power, and materials to be transferred into goods. Una there is a naay tulo ka basic inputs ang maoy importante sa system. Ang tulo sa basic inputs kay ang information, energy ug materials nga kung tipo ni na sila tanan pwede makahimo og goods or ang outputs. If the output is service, material are not included in the inputs. So kung ang output or goods nga gusto ma-achieve kay service, dili na appeal input ang materials. If we have a manufacturing company, output are goods or materials. Kung manufacturing company ang negosyo, ang output kay goods or materials o kana ang mga ginagamit nato. If we have a power generating company, output is energy. If power generation company pod pariyaan ng ASELCO, ang output dapat kay na energy or kuryente. Maura to tanan. Salamat.
Hi everyone, my name is Janami Biliren, a BS Agribusiness 1B student, and I will be reporting elements of behavioral theory. There are three elements of behavioral theory: the individual, work group, and participative management. The individual. Neoclassical theory emphasized that individual differences must be recognized. It is the way a person reacts in different situations and the way someone expresses different emotions. An individual has feelings, emotions, perceptions, and attitude. Each person is unique. He brings to the job situation certain attitudes, beliefs, and ways of life, as well as skills. Being a person unique from the other people and processing one's own needs or goals, rights, and responsibilities. He has certain meaning of his job, his supervision, working conditions, and etc. Those human relations at work determine the rise or fall in productivity. Therefore, human relationists advocate the adaptation of multidimensional model of motivation which is based upon economic, individual, and social factors. Work group. Workers are not isolated. They are social beings should be treated as such by management. As organized group of co-workers within a business or other organizations. The existence of informal organization is natural. In organizations tends to follow the organizational norms and rules wherein the employees are expected to be disciplined. For example, when a group of people gathered in a different place and time will act in a similar way. They will join a protest or a march take place in the fight. And the last one, participative management. The emergence of participative management is inevitable when emphasis is laid on individual and work groups. Employees are invited to share in the decision-making process, such as setting goals, determining work schedules, and making suggestions. Allowing labor to participate in decision-making primarily to increase productivity was a new form of supervision. Management now welcomes worker participation in planning job contents and job operations. They gave employees plenty of development opportunity and chance to implement their ideas. Neoclassical theory focused its attention on workers, plant layout, machinery, tools, and etc. Modern management, through one's equal, emphasized on man and machine, and we can evolve appropriate man-machine system to secure both goals, productivity, and satisfaction. In this form of management, everyone is treated equally when it comes to organizational decisions making. Management styles that requires the operations of personnel. And for example, consultation. Managers ask individuals for their inputs before making a decision or implementing changes. Providing creative ideas or innovative solutions that helps leader consider multiple perspectives before landing upon a final decisions. And that's all. Thank you.
My name is Erica May M. Corato. My report is all about contingency theory. Contingency theory is an organizational theory that claims that there is no best way to organize a corporation, to lead a company, or to make decisions. System approach emphasizes that all subsystem of an organization, along with the supersystem of environment, an interrelated contingency approach, analysis, and understand this interrelationship so that managerial action can be demands of a specific situation or circumstance. Thus, the contingency approach enable us to evolve practical answers to problems demanding solution. The contingency theory emphasizes the importance of both the leader's personality and the situation in which that leader operates. It refers to the idea that business leaders need to adjust leadership styles based on the situation at hand. It becomes a balance and a business leader's natural style and understanding when aware it needs to be altered. It also stated that situational factor can affect the relationship between dependent and independent variables in the work environment, which in turn will affect employee behavior. Motivation is contingent or dependent on the unique contingency variables of the particular organization. The contingency theory organizes that an individualized approach is necessary to successfully use organizational behavior data to benefit employees and create a productivity work environment. It is the basic function of manager to analyze and understand the environment in which they function before adopting their techniques, process, and practices. It is based on the theory that management effectiveness is contingent or dependent upon the interplay between the application of management behaviors and a specific situation. In other words, the way you manage should change depending on the circumstances. The contingency approach is an improvement over the system approach. It not only examine the relationship between subsystem of the organization but also the relationship between the organization and its environment. To ensure the companies run smoothly, leaders have turned to do study of organizational behavior to help improve their employees' work environment. Organizational behavior studies analyze the conduct of employees within the workplace to better predict and manage their level of motivation. However, there are various situational factors that must be taken into account when using organizational behavior data. The contingency theory may be beneficial to manager and guide them into improvement of an establishment. However, there are also factors and contingent approach may be suffered from two limitations. Number one, it does not recognize the influence of management concept and techniques on environment. First one, it does not recognize the influence of management concept and techniques of environment. Contingency theory helps a manager in so many ways, but it does not include the influence of management, which is one of the most important aspects that a manager should know and should have. Number two, literature on contingency management is yet not adequate. Second is literature on contingency management is yet not adequate. Although the contingency management has a lot of things that help a manager, the literature is still not enough due to the limitation between the manager and the approach occurred. It is very important that the literature on contingency theory is enough in management because it helps the manager to grasp and to think of what makes the management improve and how to improve more.
Good day, everyone. My name is Shakira Althea Yuluhio, and I am one of the reporter of Group 2. To continue the lesson, I will discuss the topic about characteristic of modern management thought. So, what is modern management? It is the process of implementing strategies to manage endpoints in a consistent and unified way without compromising the security of endpoints. We have 8 characteristics of modern management. First is the system approach. In system approach, we have 5 basic parts. The first one is the input. Input implements a system to use any kind of input device to control your Unity content. Also, sometimes, such as energy, money, or information that is put into a system, organization, or machine so that it can operate. Second is the process. Process is the act of determining the optimal interconnection of processing units as well as the optimal type and design of the units within a process system. Process system is the action happening while something is happened or being done. The third one is the output. Output is the information produced by a system or process from a specific input. Output also the act of producing something, the amount of something that is produced, or the process in which something is delivered. The fourth one is the feedback. Feedback is that compares its output to a desired input and takes corrective action to force the output to follow the input. The last one is the environment. Environment is a system where life interacts with the various abiotic components found in the atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere. The second characteristic is the dynamic. We have a dynamic process of interaction occurring within the structure of an organization. The equilibrium of an organization and its structure is itself dynamic or changing. Dynamic is the ability to support process changing by any rule, any time, with very low latency, or the continuously changing of developing. The third one is the multi-level and multidimensional. System approach points of complex, multi-level, and multidimensional character. We have both a micro and macro approach. A company is micro within a business system. It is macro with respect to its own internal units within a company as a system we have. So, what is multi-level? Multi-level is the association involved concepts at different abstraction level. Multidimensional also associations involve more than one dimensions or predicate. So we have 4 company system. First is the production subsystem. So what is production subsystem? It encompasses basic functions of standardizations, development, technological preparation of production, purchase, planning, reservations, production operation planning, production monitoring, production logistics, and production completion and calculation, also billings and analysis. The second one is the finance subsystem. So, finance subsystems must provide the necessary data for 100% of all accounting functions, including cost accounting, inventory, fixed assets, payroll, general ledger, accounts receivable, accounts payable, financial statement presentation, and any additional data. The third one is the marketing subsystem. Marketing subsystem is a systematic gathering, recording and analyzing data relevant to marketing of goods and services takes place. It includes all handling procedures and infrastructure that move the commodities from one point to another. And the last one is the personnel subsystem. So, all parts of components are interrelated. Both parts as well as the whole are equally important. At all levels, organizations interact in many ways. The fourth characteristic is the multi-motivated. So, what is multi-motivated? Classical theory assumed a single objective, for instance, profit. Systems approach recognizes that there may be several motivations behind our actions and behavior. Management has to compromise that multiple objectives, economics objectives, and social objectives. So, what is multi-motivated? It is about to motivate your workers in their work through their action. For example, you're going to praise your worker because she doing great job on their work. In that way, you motivate your workers. So, the fifth one is the multidisciplinary. Multidisciplinary systems approach integrates and uses with profit ideas emerging from different schools of thought. Management freely draws concepts and techniques from many fields of studies such as psychology, social psychology, sociology, ecology, economics, and mathematics, and etc. In multidisciplinary, as what Michael J. Gove said, your brain has a capacity for learning that is virtual limitless, which makes every human a potential genius. What I am trying to convey when we said multidisciplinary, it is the study of and understanding mental processes, brain function, and behavior. This is how you handle problems during a concrete solution. The sixth is the multivariable. It is assumed that there is no sample cause-effect phenomenon. An event may be the result of many factors which themselves are interrelated and interdependent. Some factors are controllable, some uncontrollable. Intelligence, planning, and control are necessary to face these variable factors. In multivariable, this one who control the management that is characterized by concrete planning. So, the next one, we have the adaptive. Adaptive is the survival and growth of an organization in a dynamic environment demands an adaptive system which can continuously adjust to changing conditions. An organization is an open system adapting itself through the process of feedback. So, adaptive is adapting what is new in terms of technological, environmental, and psychological. For example, we adapt this technology from Japan, which is called the harvester, and use it as our new way of harvesting. So, the last one is the probabilistic. Management principles point out only probability and never the certainty of performance and the consequent results. We have to face so many variables simultaneously. Our forecasts are mere tendencies. Therefore, intelligence forecasting and planning can reduce the degree of uncertainty to a considerable extent. The probabilistic, based on the theory of probability or the fact that randomness plays a role in predicting future events. So that's all for this report. I will give to the next reporter to continue the topic.
My name is Erica May M. Corato. My report is all about contingency theory. Contingency theory is an organizational theory that claims that there is no best way to organize a corporation, to lead a company, or to make decisions. System approach emphasizes that all subsystem of an organization, along with the supersystem of environment, and interrelated contingency approach, analysis, and understand this interrelationship so that managerial action can be demands of a specific situation or circumstance. Thus, the contingency approach enable us to evolve practical answers to problems demanding solution. The contingency theory emphasizes the importance of both the leader's personality and the situation in which that leader operates. It refers to the idea that business leaders need to adjust leadership styles based on the situation at hand. It becomes a balance and a business leader's natural style and understanding when aware it needs to be altered. It also stated that situational factor can affect the relationship between dependent and independent variables in the work environment, which in turn will affect employee behavior. Motivation is contingent or dependent on the unique contingency variables of the particular organization. The contingency theory organizes that an individualized approach is necessary to successfully use organizational behavior data to benefit employees and create a productivity work environment. It is the basic function of manager to analyze and understand the environment in which they function before adopting their techniques, process, and practices. It is based on the theory that management effectiveness is contingent or dependent upon the interplay between the application of management behaviors and a specific situation. In other words, the way you manage should change depending on the circumstances. The contingency approach is an improvement over the system approach. It not only examines the relationship between subsystem of the organization but also the relationship between the organization and its environment. To ensure the companies run smoothly, leaders have turned to do study of organizational behavior to help improve their employees' work environment. Organizational behavior studies analyze the conduct of employees within the workplace to better predict and manage their level of motivation. However, there are various situational factors that must be taken into account when using organizational behavior data. The contingency theory may be beneficial to manager and guide them into improvement of an establishment. However, there are also factors and contingent approach may be suffered from two limitations. Number one, it does not recognize the influence of management concept and techniques on environment. First one, it does not recognize the influence of management concept and techniques of environment. Contingency theory helps a manager in so many ways, but it does not include the influence of management, which is one of the most important aspects that a manager should know and should have. Number two, literature on contingency management is yet not adequate. Second is literature on contingency management is yet not adequate. Although the contingency management has a lot of things that help a manager, the literature is still not enough due to the limitation between the manager and the approach occurred. It is very important that the literature on contingency theory is enough in management because it helps the manager to grasp and to think of what makes the management improve and how to improve more.